In the long run, you could do something. Bring back American manufacturing. Make anything we can make here, we should make here, because it's good to be self-sufficient and independent, but it's also good to give people jobs.
By now, you have heard about the baby formula crisis, which has now turned into a partisan blame game. Progressives and centrists alike are blaming corporate greed and under-regulation for the shortage of baby formula. But these same people have caused the problem by protectionism, government welfare, and over-regulation. On the screen, I have an image summarising the whole debacle. These leftist talking heads spread their socialist drivel and refuse to admit that their own policies have caused a crisis. The intro I showed featured Kyle Kalinske advocating for self-sustaining domestic production. How's that working, Kyle? Protectionism makes economies weaker as they put all of their eggs in one basket. The COVID pandemic made many countries exercise emergency powers and shut down the economy, creating a supply chain crisis. Yet Kyle wants all production to be in the United States, a country which also shut down its own economy. Sam Seder made a video once again blaming capitalism. To debunk Sam Seder, I will use clips from a video made by Sam Seder. First, he acknowledges that the FDA limits competition.
Abbott took a large amount of the product off the market and shut the plant. And apparently, the FDA makes it very hard for companies to break in because this is, in many respects, more of a medical product than food. That's good.
Then he notices that WIC, a government welfare program, made Abbott Laboratories a monopoly.
WIC, which is the Women, Infants, and Children program that supports women and children in food. It has an exclusive deal with Abbott, and the idea is that they get reduced prices for WIC, but it also gives them a lot more shelf space in the supermarkets.
Right.
And so it gives them a big competitive advantage. And they end up being the monopoly supplier for WIC. And so to the extent that there is a monopoly, it's only in the context of WIC.
Sam does cope by saying that the monopoly is only in WIC, but he just admitted that most of the shelf space in supermarkets contain only their brand, as it's much cheaper than their competitors, primarily because government is subsidizing the lower prices, which outcompete the competition. Finally, our friend Sam outlines how government intervention has put all of our baby formula into two companies, in which one has to recall all of their product.
And so when the Abbott recall happened, the 34 states where Abbott had a near monopoly, because there's only two now big manufacturers of it, suffered the most acute shortages. Iowa, Missouri, North Dakota, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Abbott are WIC states.
So now we're on to the Young Turks, and unlike Sam Seder, who at least has given us some reason as to why the crisis is here in the first place, TYT just point the finger and blame corporate greed, whatever that's supposed to mean, which, by the way, that's existed for 200 years, and this crisis has only really been apparent until now. And what they do is that they point towards Abbott's record profits and the dividends that they pay to their shareholders, and they mention corporate consolidation.
And it turns out corporate greed has a lot to do with it. And Abbott rewards shareholders shares record all-time high.
And by the way, why is there only 3 major baby food companies? That's why when one of them can't produce baby formula, we have this massive shortage. Because of corporate consolidation, which both corporate Republicans and corporate Democrats allowed to happen.
But they don't realise that it's because of big government that causes Abbott Laboratories to become a corporate behemoth in the first place. John Stossel made a really good video about this, in which he outlines how protectionism and FDA regulation and welfare have caused Abbott Laboratories to become the main corporate behemoth in the industry in the first place. Before I show you John Stossel's video, I want to show you a bit of research I did. And I looked at this Wall Street Journal article, and in this article, the writer details that with European baby formula imports that primarily come from Germany, if they have any bit of mislabeling and slightly too much water per scoop, then all of a sudden the FDA sees it as if it's a kilo of cocaine. It's insane. Again, big government has caused a problem in the first place because the FDA is such a jealous government institution. They will not allow anything to come into their country unless they approve it. And that's what causes the issue.
Dairy industry in the United States has a really long history of lobbying the government and achieving protection.
That's why it's so hard to bring foreign formula here. Dairy industry lobbyists got Congress to slap fat tariffs on formula from overseas. There was a gray market where people were getting around these rules.
American parents enlisted third-party sellers to obtain European infant formula.
Boxes of formula arrived, but customs wouldn't let American parents have it.
Customs, at the FDA's direction, has been seizing European baby formula shipments at the border, much like a drug seizure.
They even brag about it.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection seized nearly $162,000 worth of mislabeled baby formula.
Customs then destroys the formula. Some are banned even if the ingredients are just listed in the wrong order.
If you have the wrong scooper, banned. If you don't list a certain ingredient that the FDA demands, you're banned. Even if a third-party retailer provides you with the English translation, it's banned.
Hey guys, today we've managed to seize 2 tons of illegal baby formula. Very dangerous to our society, okay?
Operation Fly Formula, the administration calls it. But they pick up only the few bottles made in FDA-approved facilities. And then they waste time inspecting it on arrival. They say they just want to make sure the formula is safe.
I think a legitimate concern if it were infant formula coming from perhaps China, but the fact is that the largest producer and exporter of infant formula is in Europe.
Maybe the European product isn't as safe.
It is safe. It's safe for European babies. It's exported all over the world. What we really need is a regime that simply says, if it's approved abroad, it's approved here. Parents should be able to decide for themselves.
So why don't we have that?
The FDA is extremely jealous of its regulatory authority. If they haven't approved it, it's banned.
This baby formula crisis is so bad that even protectionists like Crystal and Cigar from Breaking Points, they're even advocating to do more trade with Europe because they have the better baby formula products. And keep in mind, these people were the staunchest protectionists within the progressive community, and look at them now, scurrying like rats when the light's been turned on. I'm gonna play this clip here, and then I'm gonna end this video.
I mean, this really was just a complete crisis of government because it just showed us that things have to get so bad that little kids are starving and parents are driving 8 to 9 hours, different stores.
Trying to import European baby formula
illegally until the government makes it okay. Also, again, why are you not involved in the administration's response? You know, people don't realize this. The Commerce Department has immense power over international trade. Tariffs, all that stuff, that's under congressional jurisdiction of the Commerce Department. So she's telling us she has no authority over importing European baby formula. That's BS. I mean, maybe the military's moving it, but you should be heavily involved. Also in the future, you know, now that American parents are getting European baby formula, let's make it permanent.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
let the look, this is the first time we'll be like, let Americans compete, because from what I can tell, European baby formula is way better than ours.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. To conclude, protectionism has reduced foreign imports, FDA regulation has banned foreign imports in most cases, and government welfare programs like WIC have made Abbott Laboratories a monopoly, which causes the whole market to be destabilized when one factory goes out of business. Well, I hope you like the video, and don't forget to smack that like and subscribe, and yeah, thank you for watching and stay based.